First of all, I want to thank you for your years of service. I also want to thank your family, specifically Shireen, who is with you here today, and your children. But when we deploy someone, and you've been deployed multiple times, it's not just you that gets deployed, it's the entire family that feels that deployment. And I thank all of you for your service to our country. General, earlier this year at the Air Force posture hearing, you and I discussed the impact of auctioning off portions of the spectrum and what that would do to our defense capabilities. Those same concerns were echoed by all of the other service chiefs and the combatant commanders, all of them. Based on what we've discussed before, if this report, which is due in September, demonstrates that auctioning off the 3.1 to 3.45 gigahertz portion of the spectrum will adversely impact our national security, what would be your advice to the President and to the Congress, and how would you proceed?
Senator, I would echo exactly what you just highlighted, the impact to our national security, because that part of the spectrum is where we have many of our capabilities across the Joint Force. And if we had to vacate that, we'd lose that capability, and we'd have to figure out how now to regain that capability, and that will take time and cost money. And now it's not the time to drop our national security. And so my recommendation is we should not vacate, and realizing we have to still get through the study before we make any decisions. But there will be an impact, and if confirmed, I'll bring with the services, detailed information on the challenges and how it might impact the Joint Force.
Thank you, sir. Let me just ask you, with regard to your professional military opinion, do you think there's a possibility that our adversaries are actually attempting to influence the debate and to convince us that it's appropriate to sell portions of the spectrum that are vital to our national security?
Well, Senator, I can't speak positively on that topic, but I would not be surprised if our adversaries were always trying to do something to decrease our advantage and complicate our decision-making, and it's something we need to be paying attention to as senior leaders.
Thank you, sir. I've gone on record many times regarding my concerns about the DoD's approach to providing space-based ground-moving target indication capabilities to DoD users following the divestment of the JSTARS platform. There's an ongoing conversation within the interagency as to how the funding, responsibility, and priority of GMTI, the ground-moving target indication capabilities, will be handled. And I am not confident the warfighters will get this vital capability that they need to close the kill chain in the future. As chairman, will you use your position to make certain that our men and women on the front lines have full and priority use of the platforms conducting GMTI missions in the future?
Senator, I will.
Thank you, sir. General, this is something that I never thought I would be sitting here in the United States Senate asking questions about, and yet it's one that has been brought to my attention by our South Dakota Adjutant General. General Brown, you will take the seat in the midst of the largest recruiting crisis in the history of DoD's 50-year all-volunteer force. While the service has struggled to meet recruiting numbers, there has been an increased emphasis on immutable characteristics like race and sex, and the department has increasingly focused on new policies and plans in areas like equity, extremism, gender ideology, abortion, and sex change operations. There is even a growing bureaucracy that focuses on these specific issues. I'm aware of a situation that was just brought to my attention where a young woman in the South Dakota National Guard experienced a situation at basic training where she was sleeping in open bays and showering with biological males who had not had gender reassignment surgery, but were documented as females because they had begun the drug therapy process. This 18-year-old girl was uncomfortable with her situation, but had limited options on how to deal with it. If she raised her hand, she feared she'd be targeted for retaliation. She could have recycled, which would have delayed her freshman college start and would not have provided a guarantee of a different situation. She could request to leave the Guard for religious purposes and not be able to pursue her dream of serving our country. General Brown, this is a challenging situation. If confirmed as the chairman, how do you propose to handle situations like this, which I truly believe may be impacting recruitment and morale by placing a disproportionate emphasis on gender-related ideology?
Senator, one of the things I've thought about throughout my career, as you're being inclusive, you also don't want to make other individuals uncomfortable. And so there's areas as we look at our policies and approaches and get feedback like this, we have to take a look to see if we can improve on our how we approach situations like this. And as I've done as the service chief, and as I've done throughout my career, if confirmed, I will continue to do so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Rounds. Senator Kane, please.
General Round, congratulations to you and your family for the nomination. You're eminently qualified for the position.